What up, folks? How are you? Welcome in. Gather in. Come on. Gather round. The live stream of the Eric Zane Show podcast is brought to you by a arsenal of amazing sponsors who have helped keep this going. And yesterday, I didn't even acknowledge it, but yesterday I acknowledged it on the Patreon, but not the free podcast. Yesterday was the day, the 2-year anniversary of the Eric Zane Show podcast. So I am blessed because of you, the audience, and the sponsors. Hopefully, after today, some of you won't jump ship on me. Oh, no, this is scary shit. Oh, my God. But you know me. I try not to shy away from shit. Anyway, I'll get into that in a second. Let me take care of the business matters at hand. The Steffes Group of Keller Williams Realty brings you the live stream. Henry Steffes and his crew would work tirelessly for you to move your home. No, not like physically move it, but sell the home. You need a realtor. The realtor of choice on the Eric Zane Show podcast. Damn it. The Steffes Group of Keller Williams Realty. When you plug into the system with Henry Steffes and his staff, I'm telling you, just get ready because, I've oftentimes heard about people when they sell their home and they hire the realtor, and then somewhere along the line, the communication ceases. Okay, they stop keeping you updated as to what's going on. Maybe you have a question or something like that. Not the case with Henry Steffes. Please consider him. Reach out to the Steffes Group of Keller Williams Realty. Just click on his website, his logo at ericzaneshow.com, and off you go. TheSteffesGroup.com for more information. Okay. We've got a place for you to work out here in West Michigan. That is F45 Training in Byron Center, Michigan. F45training.com/Byron Center. When you go to that website, there's a spot. It's a start free membership. I don't know, something free. Look for the word free. Click on it, and then you fill out like a couple spots of information, and then you go work out for free. You get that for a week. Use it as much as you like. Then that should give you plenty of time to figure out, yeah, this is right for me. And you're like, well, hey, but Zane, they're not, they can't have any working out going on there because of this pandemic. Aha. They have figured out a way. Say it with me now, to pivot. They have an enormous facility, and they got taped off 9-foot by 12-foot spots on the floor. I said 10-foot by 12 yesterday, but it's 9-foot by 12-foot spots. And that's your space. That's your personal space. You're all walled off. Please don't go into my personal space. And then you do it. So friggin' get after it. You should work out every single day. If not, you're failing yourself and your family. I'll just today's going to be a day where I basically just say the fucking truth. Yes, definitely do it because you need to. Your family wants you to live as long as possible. Quit giving me a million wrong reasons why you're not. Give me one right reason why you should. Your health. F45 Byron Center, Michigan. Get your ass moving, okay? And they've got everything you need there, man. They got dietary advice. They've got specific workouts. It's just freaking everything. F45training.com/Byron Center. One more group to talk about that is A&D Cleaning. If you're in West Michigan, get your home clean by a legend, the one and only Amy Porter and her lesser half, Denny Fake News. Okay? 616-550-3644. A&D Cleaning. Get an estimate today from Amy. They also sponsor Daisy the Bulldog, who is a little bit sleepy, so she is not up here this morning. This show comes to you each and every morning, normally at 8 o'clock ish. Today it's a late start. It is the 7th of January, 2021. The Eric Zane Show podcast begins now.
Yes, hello.
Yes, hello.
Sean Gotti here, coming to you from Raleigh, North Carolina. And there's not a single radio show around here that's worth a damn. So I'm listening to the Eric Zane Show podcast, coming to you live Monday through Friday. So sit back, get your trays in the upright position, feet and elbows out of the aisle, because here he comes.
Yep.
Eric Zane.
Oh my gosh, thank you, Sean. Sean, how are you, buddy? Thanks, folks. This is thanks for being here. This is a daily Monday through Friday podcast covering news, nonsense, and my personal adventures. You can see it live in the morning on Facebook. Brought to you by Irvine's Auto Repair, Grand Rapids Hybrid. That's Eric Zane Show. I'm sorry, Facebook.com/Eric Zane fan page. Also on Twitter, you can watch a live a Periscope video. Thank you to all the folks who are on Twitter. Let me back up. On Facebook, you know what I'm going to tell you. Share it. Share it, share it, share it. Show the world your pride and your pal Eric Zane. Okay? Share that bad boy. I appreciate it. It really helps. Facebook, a Periscope video brought to you by Blue Frost IT. Thank you. Please retweet. On the almighty YouTube, brought to you by F45 Training in Byron Center, Michigan. Subscribe to the channel, Eric Zane Show. Hit the bell notification and the thumbs up button. These are all specific instructions. I know it's a lot, but it means the world to your old pal, Eric. If you download the audio podcast, wherever you download podcasts, please subscribe, rate, and review. Follow me on Instagram. Brought to you by the Mario Flores Lakeshore team of Van Dyke Mortgage. Okay. Yeah. All right. That's some of the busy work. Now, today is going to be just a odd duck type of a day. My God. I am envious of, it's not the same, but I am envious of people who put content out on the radio on a day like today. Kind of. I guess I'll determine that at the end of this, whether I thought, hey, I think you did it. I'll assess. I'll assess myself. Did you do an acceptable job? Did you not do an acceptable job? If I decide I didn't do an acceptable job, then I might be like, boy, I wish I wasn't here today. But if you're like my old pals on Free Beer and Hot Wings, who, by the way, the dialogue still continues to build, and I'm very, very happy about that. I shared a nice exchange with Greg again recently, and that was nice. Chris is a tough nut to crack. I'm having a difficult time getting at Hot Wings, but maybe, God willing, down the road, we'll be able to break bread. Sorry, Bill Burr. We'll be able to break bread. So hopefully. Okay. But, yeah, I'm envious, maybe, because, you can kind of, if you're off work for the week, which they are, you can kind of sidestep these weirdo events and then just get back just get back to, days removed. You have less. If I sat here on this podcast and did not address January 6th, what happened at the Capitol, oh, my God, that would be an absolute horrible disaster, in my opinion. So absolutely a weirdo show today. And how to proceed. Well, I sat in my home last night absorbing things, and by the evening hours, I was like, now, what are you going to do on this podcast? And I sat there and I go, well, I could just take the day off. And I go, well, that's just ridiculous. I'm having this battle in my head, these little discussions. What to do? Well, I could just say, yeah, in light of the events going on at the Capitol, and basically that would be like a cop-out, because I would not want to plant my flag on whatever point of view I have, with the concern being that I would alienate people that are enjoying the podcast. And then I'm like, you have been through a lot with these folks. You owe them the benefit of the doubt that they will hear you out if you just talk from your heart as to how you feel. This is what you've always done, dummy, is you've always just basically spoken from your heart. What was on your mind? And you're fortunate enough to have enough people who do listen to you to be able to do something like this. This is a great gig. So you would be mistaken to sidestep something as large as what happened. So get your ass in there and figure it the fuck out. This is all the conversation I'm having with myself. I'm like, oh, okay, all right. Now, as you know, I'm a jumble of nerves and weirdo chemicals and ADHD, and I don't take a bit of medicine anymore. So I'm like just kind of always scattered, okay? But I did come up with this kind of like clarity. Well, just go in there and do the show like you normally do, and just kind of try to capture what everybody is going through. And what you're all going through right now is kind of like weirdo thoughts and, oh my God, how could this happen? And, oh, I'm so mad and I'm not mad and I'm mad at this guy and I'm mad at that guy. So, I'm no different. And we as a group, let me get back to this point, have been through a lot together. And, I've said shit that should have pissed people off. Like if I was less transparent with you, if I suddenly decided to be transparent about something, you might be pissed and say, fuck it, I'm out. But I've always been transparent with you, and you expect nothing less from me than to tell you exactly what I'm thinking. That's what you're fucking here for. That's what you've always been here for. That's why I cry on the podcast a lot, because I just tell what's on my mind. And for some reason, it seems to work. So I change nothing. There is no difference today, really, in what I do on a normal day, except it's all about one topic. So the other thought I had last night was, will I just maybe ignore it and say, now's not the time or the place, and here, let's talk about this guy who fell into a volcano, or do first of all, there's nothing else to talk about in the world. That would be it would take more work to come up with an alternate show, kind of walling off and say, yeah, hey, I'm going to be your break from what everyone's talking about. I've always hated that take. I think it's a fucking insult, and it ain't for me. Bullshit. It's more work for me to try to make a fucking show where we don't talk about something than to just say what the fuck is on your mind and what could be on the mind of everybody else in one way, shape, or form. So that's how I'm proceeding. That's how I'm going to do it. It is weird because, this is some serious fucking shit going on here. And then I got to, talk about whatever it is I want to talk about. And then I got, oh, hey, here's some sponsors. But, fuck, I'm just taking what is dealt and doing the best I can. I hope it's okay for you. If not, I hope you understand where I'm coming from, at least, and respect that this is my opinion on the matter. As much as I respect yours, I'm going to look you boldly in the face and say, I don't agree, and I think you're wrong. I love you to death, but I think you're wrong. And I think that we need to elevate our games to be able to fucking cool shit down and understand that from now on, we need to be able to say whatever the fuck we want to someone and understand that they might not have that same opinion, but they can respect that and move on. Like, I don't agree with what a lot of you say. And my opinion, as you know, changes with information all the time. Okay? But that's why you're here. So, yes, it's okay to sit there and bitch and moan about my opinions and argue, but it ends there. I still love you very much. All right. So the day is coming. The day is coming when something like this happens, and I just don't have the energy or the drive to address it. That day is not today. Man. It became so clear to me last night. And I was sitting there and I'm just watching and I'm seeing as Congress got back to work and I'm hearing these words from these people. And I'm like, well, this is all I'm going to talk about. This is the biggest fucking thing in since 9/11, in my opinion. Okay. And in some cases, this is bigger because it is within the country, the division and the sheer danger and potential for future danger is, well, it seems almost unavoidable. Okay. At least when with 9/11, you had people who don't agree with our country's, with us at all, foreigners, crazy fanatics from another part of the world trying to ruin our lives and kill us all. This is within the country. I have a lot of questions, but let me just start with this. When we look back on this, and the history books write about this, and in 50 years, because of yesterday, in my opinion, when the name Donald Trump surfaces, yesterday is what he will be remembered for, in my opinion. He could have done amazing things throughout his entire presidency. And had this not happened, you could have gone back on some of the high points as a supporter of him and say, yeah, but he did this, this, and this. I don't think that's possible anymore. I think that most Americans will look back on this and remember yesterday. And that's unfortunate for him because I'm sure there's plenty that he's proud of, but no one is going to remember that. Okay. As part of this intro, just some questions that popped up into my brain that I wrote down that I think need to be looked at. Question 1. Why was this police response so fucking gutless? I have never seen a more cowardly, pussified response to these fucking animals who, with every step, got more emboldened. Did you see the one clip in the Capitol, the black guy who he bends down to pick up his baton and all these fucking scuzz are walking towards him like, get out of our fucking way. And he's all alone. And the poor son of a bitch runs up the steps. It looked like one of those scenes from one of the siege moments in Game of Thrones where the bad guys are attacking the castle and the good guys are massively outnumbered. What the hell? I have an article that I want to get into a little later on about this exact thing, but I was like, something's not right about this police response. Okay. And that kind of goes hand in hand with my next question. How were we not ready for this? How did you not see this coming? Because there should have been a certain large contingency of defense surrounding the Capitol for this moment. And it wasn't there. Why? I also have a question. Why was the gun fired at the lady? I have her name. I don't have it in front of me right now. But one of the people, it was a lady from, I believe, California, former Air Force veteran. She was, some of the windows got busted in and she tried climbing in. It was within the Capitol. Now, everybody's been breaking windows and everybody's been knocking down doors and fucking shit for some time. Why her climbing through where a pane of glass used to be to get into a certain area? I'm a little bit curious as to why then and why her you decided to fire on her. And I think maybe there's a reason. I don't know. But apparently that bullet was fired by a Capitol cop. But not so sure I would need to know why. Why if you at this point had failed to do any fucking thing as these animals emerged into the Capitol to trash the place, you hadn't done. I mean, we saw some resistance, but that was a very weak response. That should have been much stronger than that, in my opinion. Why do you suddenly go to that level and shoot her dead? I don't give a fuck if she is in there doing that. I don't know if that was the appropriate response, but I don't know. A timeline of events. I had forgotten. Frankly, when this all was developing, I was on I was on my Patreon. Excuse me, just had to burp. I was on my Patreon, and my son called me, and he said, "Hey, do you hear what's going on?" And I go, "Oh, what? What's going on?" Yeah, they're storming the Capitol. There's a siege going on. And I'm like, I didn't really think too much of it. I thought, it's the usual loudmouths. We've seen it before. Whatever, doing their thing. They're well within their right. No big deal. Yeah, it's just a bunch of guys gathered around, show of, hey, we love the president, which would have been fine. Okay, you'd have been fine with that. Your rally, your protest, fucking go for it. Hire Lee Greenwood. Have 38 Special and what's left of Molly Hatchet perform. Do all that shit. Go for it. Like, come on. He goes, no, I'm serious. And so a couple of the folks on the Patreon were like, it's not a riot. It's just a bunch of guys getting together. It's no big deal. Typical don't tread on me flags, monster trucks, truck nuts, the usual. And then the day starts unfolding. I'm like, oh fuck, this is a riot. This is definitely a riot. This is definitely. I'll say on my mind. What's on my mind? I'll say what's on my mind, and that is this is an act of terror. These are terrorists, and until the temperature goes down in this country, it's my opinion that these people will continue to be emboldened. Now, I didn't realize that this all started with Trump sending them on their way. I didn't realize it was in the morning that Trump spoke. I thought Trump did the deal the night before, but the timeline of events laid out like this. The protesters surrounded the Washington Monument to rally. Several people gave speeches on the ellipse, including Rudy Giuliani and Trump himself. Giuliani addressed the crowd, repeating the conspiracy theories that voting machines used in the election were crooked and calling for, quote, trial by combat. In hindsight, this all sounds ridiculous, okay? And as I've said before, and just so everybody's on the same page, in case you're new here, leading up to the election, I made it very clear that I was voting for Trump. Shortly after, when things started to unfold right after the election, because when I saw that Biden won, I was like, oh my God, look he pulled it out. I was not at all in step with the fix being in or any type of voter fraud. I never believed that. I just thought the other guy won, and now we got to give him a chance. I am not one of those far-right extremists. I just voted for Trump because I thought he was the best man for the job. I was wrong. I am not comfortable with the vote that I made. And I want to tell you that I feel badly about that. Hindsight being what it is. I am no longer comfortable with, at any one point, feeling like he was the man to lead the country. I'm mortified at my own decision. And it's been a pretty consistent vibe coming out of me on this show about him since all of the contesting the election bullshit that he put everybody through. I didn't believe a bit of it. I don't believe a bit of it. And he's wrong. And I think that anybody else who does believe it is wrong too. Sorry. That's how I feel. Take it or leave it. By the way, I am well aware that my opinions about this on this show is could hurt me. Absolutely. But fuck it, man. I am not in the business to mince words. I am in the business to tell you what's on my mind. You take it or you leave it. Again, I love you dearly, but we got to get to a point in time in this country when people like me or people like you can say whatever the fuck we want without such a raising of the temperature. Cool it, man. Relax. So I feel bad that I voted for him. I'm disappointed in myself going forward. That was a mistake, and I regret it. And yesterday was just the icing on the cake, in my opinion. So, Giuliani talks about trial by combat. Trump gave a speech from behind a glass barrier declaring he would never concede the election. Criticized the media, called for Pence to overturn the election results. And we talked about that. In this moment yesterday, Pence was merely ceremonial. It was described to me as he's the guy at the Oscars who opens up the envelope and announces Best Picture. That's it. He does not have any constitutional authority to do that. So why Trump is urging on all these maniacs by saying Pence has to do the right thing, it puts Pence in a terrible position because all these fucking morons don't have any idea what the fuck this is all about. They think Trump is correct. Pence can't do shit. Trump urged his supporters to march on the Capitol. Quote, "You'll never take back our country with weakness." This all sounds so terrible considering what happened. You have to show strength and you have to be strong. We have come to demand that Congress do the right thing and only count the electors who have been lawfully slated. It's that whole fucking voter fraud bullshit. I know that everyone here will soon be marching over to the Capitol building, to peacefully and patriotically make your voices heard. Okay, if only it were that simple. And I wish they had heeded him. That was not water. That was not enough water onto the fire, though. Trump also told his supporters to fight. We fight like hell. And if you don't fight like hell, you're not going to have a country anymore. He declared they would be, quote, going to the Capitol and we're going to try and give Republicans the kind of pride and boldness that they need to take back our country. Trump's adult sons, Don Jr. and Eric Trump, also spoke, verbally attacking Republican congressmen and senators who were not supporting the effort to challenge the Electoral College vote and promising to campaign against them in future primary elections. Then, between 1 and 2:15 p.m., rioters began an attempt to storm the buildings in the Capitol. Wow. That's basically how it got started. I've got a number of clips I want to play. First of all, I want to get into this story too. And I apologize if you're used to the wacky silliness of my show, but today is not the day for that. Story emerged today that when the National Guard had to be called in, Mike Pence actually had to do that, according to the story that I'm seeing right now. Vice President Mike Pence, who is what I'm learning is extremely pissed off. Pence, not Trump, helped facilitate the decision to bring in the National Guard. Wow. If that's true, that is absolutely incredible. Republican House Minority Leader Kevin McCarthy sidestepped questions Wednesday night about whether Pence, not Trump, directed the National Guard to be activated, but suggested the vice president ultimately approved the decision. Asked by Fox News about reporting that Pence, not the president, approved the activation, McCarthy said, I know the vice president has been in constant contact with us and also along with security inside the Capitol. I communicated with the vice president early on. It was in regards to getting the National Guard there. He said he will call right now. The comments appear to conflict with what White House Press Secretary Kayleigh McEnany said in a tweet hours earlier when she asserted that Trump directed the National Guard to respond to the situation. Oh, boy. Man, this is really, really screwed up. And there's a lot of talk now, and I'm going to get into it, about the 25th Amendment and things like that. And you're like, what is that? I've heard people talking about it. In fact, I was in the same boat as you. What is the 25th Amendment? I did a little reading about it, and it's pretty remarkable how that exactly works. So I definitely want to get into that. This I found troubling. This was Trump. And okay, with the unrest going on, in my opinion, it should have been Trump on TV quickly, talking about this, condemning all of this. But he didn't. And he waited way too long. And when he did do something, it was a video on Twitter, which had the tag on it that said misleading information. And I'll get to him in social media a little later on in this podcast. But this was very, very weak because in this statement, he takes more time talking about the fake voter fraud and all the shit that he's been stirring up to these fucking morons for the longest time. And instead of talking about how this is terrible and condemning it, he basically almost gives them a glowing review and says sweet things to them while talking more about all the bullshit about all the election hijinks.
All I want to do is this. I just want to...
That's not it. That's not the clip. Jesus. Sorry. This is the clip.
I know your pain. I know you're hurt. We had an election that was stolen from us. It was a landslide election, and everyone knows it, especially the other side. But you have to go home now. We have to have peace. We have to have law and order. We have to respect our great people in law and order. We don't want anybody hurt. It's a very tough period of time. There's never been a time like this where such a thing happened, where they could take it away from all of us.
Listen to him.
From me, from you, from our country. This was a fraudulent election.
Oh, my God.
But we can't play into the hands of these people. We have to have peace. So go home.
Yeah.
We love you.
Yeah, listen
You're
to that.
very special. You've seen what happens. You see the way others are treated that are so bad and so evil.
Yeah, this is bullshit.
I know how you feel.
This is all bullshit.
But go home and go home in peace.
This is all bullshit. That was horrible. That was not condemning violence in any way. Okay, that wasn't a strong response to basically an attempt at overthrowing the government. Let's just say what it was. This was a ragtag attempt at a coup. Had they gotten in there into the chamber, what do you think? And I think they eventually did after all the members of Congress got out. I mean, what the fuck were you morons hoping to do? Oh my God. I don't know about you, but I wanted to see baton. I was so pissed off. I wanted to see batons bouncing off heads, more of that. I'm like, why am I not seeing a fucking battle of the bastards moment here? What the fuck is going on here? Pence comes back to work in all of Congress, and they're going to take care of this fucking thing. And they ended up getting it done last night at 3 a.m. finally. Not before several members of Congress who were like, okay, we're contesting this election. They jumped ship. Trump is fucking alone. He is twisting in the wind. There are numerous people that have just given up and said, fuck you, fuck this, I am out. Son of a bitch. I wanted Pence to lose his shit. He did not. He kept it together. This is when they all got back together after all the dust started to settle a little bit.
The Vice President, as President of the Senate, would like to give a brief statement with the indulgence of the senators. Today was a dark day in the history of the United States Capitol. But thanks to the swift efforts of U.S. Capitol Police, federal, state, and local law enforcement, the violence was quelled. The Capitol is secured, and the people's work continues. We condemn the violence that took place here in the strongest possible terms. We grieve the loss of life in these hallowed halls, as well as the injuries suffered by those who defended our Capitol today. And we will always be grateful to the men and women who stayed at their posts to defend this historic place. To those who wreaked havoc in our Capitol today, you did not win. Violence never wins. Freedom wins. And this is still the people's house. And as we reconvene in this chamber, the world will again witness the resilience and strength of our democracy. For even in the wake of unprecedented violence and vandalism at this Capitol, the elected representatives of the people of the United States have assembled again on the very same day to support and defend the Constitution of the United States. So may God bless the lost, the injured, and the heroes forged on this day. May God bless all who serve here and those who protect this place. And may God bless the United States of America. Let's get back to work.
Attaboy. It's a nice job right there. That was well done. That was a fantastic thing to say. I thought that was absolutely perfect. I mean, anybody, and then I saw numerous people, and you see that posted on Twitter with the clip. You see the same usual suspects calling that guy a traitor and all sorts of shit. That's the kind of the weird state we're in right now. These people do have a voice, and I think that I hate to say it. I hate that I have to say this to you, but I think I know Trump is to blame for that. Him stoking those fires, him getting these people all riled up in the way that he has is pure folly and an absolute abomination. And I'm just fucking disgusted by the whole thing. And it's going to take a long time. But I think, honestly, with even after just, a handful of hours after, seeing so many people already turn on him like that appropriately, I think that's the beginning of being able to turn this thing around. I want to go back to when it's just, Republicans and Democrats with a lower temperature. That's what most of America wants. Okay, this pocket of fucking maniacs. Nobody wants that, and but it's going to take some time. It's going to take some time because of the amount of time that it took Trump, 4 years, even then some, to get these people all wound up to that level. It's going to take some time for it to unwind, or just for them to fucking get bored and come up with something else to be pissed off about. But my God. Shit. All right. I've got a whole lot more that I want to get into, including I want to talk about this 25th Amendment thing. What is that? How is that? And is this even a possibility? And is that even a good idea? The Mario Flores Lakeshore team of Van Dyke Mortgage says, look, hey, I can sell your house for you. 231-332-6505. It's never been a better time to go get a mortgage. Reach out to Mario today, 231-332-6505. And if you're struggling with, for folks who have great credit, you're like, oh, this is awesome, man. I mean, I've got it on Easy Street. I need to call on Mario to give me a new mortgage to buy me my next $1 million home. That's cool. He can work that for you, but where his expertise really shines is with the first-time homeowner or the person looking to buy a home for the first time. Bankruptcy, divorce, bad credit, no credit, whatever it may be, he can navigate that for you. Truth be told, not all of you will get one. Not all of you can get a mortgage. However, he can instruct you on how to get to a point where you can get a mortgage. All right. 231-332-6505. Thank God there's Blue Frost IT supporting this show. I have what's called a monthly service IT support contract with them. Each month, I give them a little bit of money, and that little bit of money ensures that if anything goes wrong with my tech, I dial them up and I say, problem. They remote in, take a look at it. We can fix this right here, Eric. We didn't even have to go to your house. It takes minutes. More serious problem, boots on the ground. They get to the old Fear Bunker studio here, and then off we go. If your small or medium-sized business does not have IT support, you run the risk of something bad happening. And while your computers are down, you're losing money. Oh, my God. 616-200-8550 is their number, or bluefrostit.com. And let's say you don't take my advice and you don't call upon them, and your tech does go in the crapper. You can still take advantage of this. Just, you're just not like in the you got to start from scratch. And then I'm sure you'll be getting your IT service contract from Blue Frost IT. 616-200-8550. Boy, all of this craziness makes me long for the days when all we had to worry about was the pandemic. Kent County Health Department, they've always been focused on the pandemic and trying to keep you safe. If you live in the area of West Michigan, Kent County, just know that the Kent County Health Department is working tirelessly to provide you with all of the tools to keep you safe. Okay. AccessKent.com/health is their website. Reach out to them for anything at all concerning the pandemic, also concerning other vaccines for your kids, the WIC program, and any of the other services that they offer at the Kent County Health Department. They are amazing. They work a bunch. They work tirelessly. Okay. All right. Deep breath, everybody. Do I dare look at the chat? I hope it's okay. I hope you guys are all right. I hope you're not busy bitching at each other. I just want to lower the temperature. Okay. My show is what it is. Opinions. Gotta look. I see a lot of long form comments. Okay. I dare not get into it right now, but let me just tell you, we need to just turn it down. Okay. It's over. The Trump era ends with, I don't know, is this what he wanted? If so, it's over. Flush it, man. There's no reason to try to think about anything in the past anymore. It does you no good. My advice to you, look to the future in your own world to do something positive. And I don't know, start with maybe being nice to one another. Let's start there. But I find there to be no excuse for what went on. And I think that Trump's condemnation was not a condemnation. That was absolute bullshit. That was not condemning them. Pence got it right. Trump got it wrong. So there's how many days left in the presidency? Today's the 7th. He's got till the 20th at noon. And then that's it. What to do? The talk of the removal of office has come up, invoking the 25th Amendment. What is that? Well, I had never heard of that fucking thing. No idea what that is. In this clip, it is Chris Christie being called in and weighing in via the phone on TV about the 25th Amendment.
As I was talking about with our legal team, I want to pose this to you as well. There appears to be some open talk now, at least about the possibility of invoking the 25th Amendment. Have you heard anything about that?
I haven't, George, but what I will say is this, that everybody, all of us who have been in office, me, you, Ram, some of the others that we know, whether it was an elected office or appointed office, took an oath. And that oath is not just, as you know, for the people who are elected. That oath is also for the people who are appointed. So whether it's members of the cabinet, members of the senior staff at the White House who are commissioned by the president, you all take an oath.
By the way, he's saying something in code right there. No, let me just pause right now because someone caught my attention. I see Josh has written this. He says, if I didn't like Eric so much, I would have shut it down now. Can't stand all this political shit. Look, man, you got to understand here. I can only give you what the world gives me. I can only do that. And it is my job to basically play the hand that is dealt. I get it. You don't like it. You want to sit there. You want to laugh. And maybe at some point in this, we'll have a joke or a sign will fall or the dog will take a dump. No idea. But I find it to be, kind of a duty to talk about things like this. And, I would love to be able to just say, just ignore it. It'll go away. But this is fucking bullshit. This is absolute horseshit that just happened. Fucking people are dead over this. So I take this shit very, very seriously. And no offense, but I think you should too.
Others that we know, whether it was an elected office or appointed office, took an oath. And that oath is not just, as you know, for the people who are elected. That oath is also for the people who are appointed. So whether it's members of the cabinet, members of the senior staff at the White House who are commissioned by the president, you all take an oath. And I think everyone tonight who is in that type of position in the executive branch of government has to examine their conscience and examine for themselves what's the appropriate step for me to take. You saw that the First Lady's chief of staff has resigned in response to this. And I think that everyone has to think about what they're going to do to be consistent with the oath they've sworn when they took their office. And there's lots of different options for them to explore. And I am sure that there are responsible members of the cabinet who right now are thinking about what are their obligations under the oath that they took. And if they're not thinking about those things, they should be.
Okay. So for a dummy like me, I'm like, I'm not sure what the hell he's trying to say there. And then after digging a little bit, I figured out he's if you read between the lines there, what he's saying is the members of Trump's cabinet have to examine this. And I'm like, how does this even work? What is going on here? First of all, let me add this. Trump said last night, early in the morning, that he will facilitate a peaceful transfer, a peaceful transition. That's all he said, which after the electoral votes were finally cast in the middle of the night. Okay. And in my opinion, should Trump be removed from office? I think that would be a terrible, terrible thing to do. I think that would be a huge mistake. You've got, less than 2 weeks. And I think that if you did that, why are you doing that? Are you just to stick one up his ass? Are you doing that to punish him? I think that would be a huge mistake. I think considering what happened yesterday, that would be yet another match into the gasoline. Okay, so I think that would be a huge mistake if they actually did that. But what is that? How does it even work? I'm just going to read to you. I apologize. 25th Amendment. If the vice president and a majority of cabinet secretaries, so like Mike Pompeo, Betsy DeVos, these are all secretaries in Trump's cabinet. So his people, there's 15 of them. Some of them are acting members right now because someone stepped down or he fired somebody and someone else comes in as the acting. Not sure if their vote holds as much input, but what you need there is you need 8 of the 15 members of the cabinet to say, yeah, get them out of here. But I'm getting ahead of myself. Under the amendment, if the vice president and a majority of cabinet secretaries conclude the president is unable to discharge the powers and duties of his office, they can put that in writing and send it to congressional leaders. Once that happens, the vice president immediately becomes acting president. It's never been invoked. Never has this happened. Before Trump, discussions of it mostly envisioned a president who became physically or mentally unwell. Some would say he's mentally unwell. But due to Trump's erratic governance, it's come up during his presidency. For instance, former Deputy Attorney General Rod Rosenstein discussed this after he fired FBI Director James Comey. I don't remember that. Since this all began, it's been thrown out again. Section 4 empowers certain top government officials with the ability to make the assessment that the president is unable to do his job. The first person involved in this has to be Mike Pence. He has to be the one. I mean, if he says no, it doesn't go. It's up to Pence. And Pence needs to have a majority of the principal officers of the executive departments joining him. And they include Secretary of State Mike Pompeo, Steve Mnuchin, the guy who gave you your money for your COVID aid. Other names you might recognize: Betsy DeVos, Robert Wilkie. So there's 15 of them. 8 of them would have to sign on to a written declaration that Trump is unable to discharge the powers of his office. And if they do that and send it to House Speaker Nancy Pelosi and Senate President Pro Tem Chuck Grassley, Trump loses his power. That makes Mike Pence the president. Trump would still technically hold the title of the president, but he wouldn't have legal authority to actually do anything anymore. At least that's how it should work in theory. If Trump tried to totally ignore this, we'd be headed into fully illegal territory, and who knows how that would play out. Oh, boy. I don't know, man. I just feel really sick about this. When I was watching the video and saw that fucking scuzz with his feet on the desk in Pelosi's office, I don't think he was actually at her desk. It was in the office of Pelosi, though. I'm like, what an absolute disgrace this is. Oh my God. On so many levels. Shit. Missed warning signs and failure to fortify the U.S. Capitol bewilder experts. How in the world did this happen? Political leaders demanded late Wednesday to know why law enforcement did not better fortify the United States Capitol after these groups did their thing. That is a great question. Yeah. I don't know about you, but when I was watching them kick in doors and break the fucking windows, I'm like, why aren't we seeing something very aggressive happening to these people? And I'm not talking about shooting these people. I mean, come on. I'm just sick that the one lady got shot and killed. The one lady with the Trump flag around her neck. I mean, come on. And then there was 3 other people who also died, I think, within the ranks of the protesters, who, I don't know if it was another medical condition that took place. I'm not really sure about that. 20 cops were hurt and a ton of damage. My God. All right. That's how the 25th Amendment works. I apologize for all of this, folks, but it's kind of the way it's got to be today. I want to play a couple more clips for you. As it all started to unfold when the Congress was getting back into do their job, many of them spoke. Mitt Romney got a lot of talk about this speech right here. And before I play it, in an effort to try to encourage you to de-escalate, I don't think that when you hear things from people that you just people just looking at whatever is said and saying, yeah, but he did this and she did this. And then in the past they did that. Dude, this is at an entirely different level. This is all fucking beyond the scope of what anybody had anticipated. It was just discussion and disagreement. I'm all for that. Yes, true. I don't believe a fucking thing about this election fraud. Trump It is what was in his means to try to explore those options. He did, and it didn't work. So fucking move on, right? I'm in support of him exploring those options. I'm not in support of him riling up all these fucking maniacs into doing this exact thing. I've got some great clips I want to play. I'll start with Mitt Romney.
Due to a selfish man's injured pride and the outrage of supporters who he has deliberately misinformed for the past 2 months and stirred to action this very morning. What happened here today was an insurrection incited by the President of the United States. Those who choose to continue to support his dangerous gambit by objecting to the results of a legitimate democratic election will forever be seen as being complicit in an unprecedented attack against our democracy.
Wow.
Fairly or not, they'll be remembered for their role in the shameful episode in American history. That will be their legacy. I salute Senator Langford and Loeffler and Braun and Daines, and I'm sure others, who in the light of today's outrage.
Those are the ones who jumped ship today. They were on Trump's side saying, fucking contest the election. They gave up. They said, fuck it, I'm out.
Have withdrawn their objection. For any who remain insistent on an audit in order to satisfy the many people who believe that the election was stolen, I'd offer this perspective. No congressional audit is ever going to convince these voters, particularly when the president will continue to say that the election was stolen.
It's true.
The best way we can show respect for the voters who are upset is by telling them the truth.
Attaboy. That's a great comment. That's fucking true. Tell them what happened. Your guy lost. Now fucking move on. Get on with your life. Go be productive. Have sex with your wife. Whatever the fuck. Get a job. Doesn't matter. Oh my God. Holy shit. Hey, let me help your business. When the dust settles on all this drama, you know that this podcast will always be a viable thing. Talking about the things that matter most in a very serious day like today, or maybe talking about how, I don't know, No Filter Kevin gave the finger to Chinese food at Meijer. At the end of the day, I can help your business because there's an army of people that enjoy this podcast, and I encourage them to check out businesses just like yours. Reach out to me, Eric at ericzaneshow.com for more information. Like my friend Troy Ginzer at Tag Accounting, tagcpa.net, 616-301-9516 for Tag Accounting. Tax season is here, okay? We need to pay for a window replacement at the Capitol. So, you pay your taxes, and so there you go. All those hillbillies that burst into the room, we got to pay for all the busted windows and the knockdown doors and all the other bullshit, the trashing of Pelosi's office. That's what taxes are all about. Tag Accounting wants to make sure that your taxes are done right and that you get your money quickly and you don't have to raise one finger to do them. Tag Accounting, tagcpa.net, 616-301-9516. While I'm at it, there has now been a second class added for Prince Arming for CPL training. You had Saturday, January 30th, just added Sunday, January 31, another class from Prince Arming, 616-204-1705. The required training you need to get a pistol license, concealed pistol license in the state of Michigan happens with Prince Arming. It's just a one-day thing. At the end of the class, you take a test. You pass. Congratulations. You take that document, take it to your county, drop $110 into their coffers, and then you get your license. The class at Prince Arming costs you $125. That's it. And then you're off and running. It is a great, great bit of coursework. Okay. This is Mitch McConnell.
The United States and the United States Congress have faced down much greater threats than the unhinged crowd we saw today. We've never been deterred before and will be not deterred today. They tried to disrupt our democracy. They failed. they failed. They failed to attempt to obstruct the Congress. This failed insurrection only underscores how crucial the task before us is for our republic.
Wow.
Our nation was founded precisely so that the free choice of the American people is what shapes our self-government and determines the destiny of our nation. Not fear, not force, but the peaceful expression of the popular will. Now, we assembled this afternoon to count our citizens' votes and to formalize their choice of the next president. Now we're going to finish exactly what we started.
These guys are emboldened.
We'll
They're pissed
complete the
off.
process the right way, by the book. We'll follow our precedents, our laws, and our Constitution to the letter.
This day normally is like a rubber stamp. It's not even a big deal. It just comes and goes every 4 years. The fact that this day has become this because of Trump is just incredible.
And we will certify the winner of the 2020 presidential election. Criminal behavior will never dominate the United States Congress. This institution is resilient. Our democratic republic is strong. The American people deserve nothing less.
The image of in the chamber, did you see how they like put the furniture up on the door when all these maniacs were busting the windows and peeking in, and I don't know if it was Secret Service or what, guys in suits with guns aimed at them? Fuck, man. I feel do you remember, I know it's kind of a weird comparison, but in 9/11, how vulnerable you felt? Like, oh my God, it was so easy for the bad guys to take our planes and fly them into our buildings. My God, we were caught so flat-footed. I feel that they may have felt that way. I know I did a little bit. How with such ease these fucking maniacs went into the Capitol. That should not have happened. And they were right outside of the chamber doors. When all these fucking people are trying to do is conduct the business that was decided on by America. That's it. Okay? And that did not happen the way it was supposed to. There was some also the actual physical votes, the actual electoral votes for each state are in these ceremonial boxes, okay? And then they Connecticut, our electoral votes, we have however many electoral votes, we send them according to the people of the great state of Connecticut. We have cast our electoral votes for Joe Biden, so-and-so state, Texas, for whatever, whoever wins what, then they do it that way. And then they add it up. It all adds to the number that we've all seen before, and then off we go. This is almost like just a ceremonial thing, okay? I'm that feeling of despair because it didn't happen that way, and the ease at which these fucking wackos got in there. I would demand answers. I was like, how did this even happen? What's going on there? There had been lots of chatter by these right-wing groups about doing this exact thing, and yet the fact that they weren't ready for them, something's up. I don't know. It just stinks to high heaven to me that they allowed them in there. They didn't offer more resistance. That's really bugging me. This clip is, I know, hey, normally I would never play because she's so polarizing, Nancy Pelosi, but she's fucking right here. Okay, this is what you get when wackos storm the Capitol. You get me saying that Nancy Pelosi is absolutely correct.
To those who strove to deter us from our responsibility, you have failed. To those who engaged in the gleeful desecration of this, our temple of democracy, American democracy, justice will be done. Today,
and she should say, and we need to start with the fuck who put his feet on my desk. She needs to really just, rip off her top and say, here we go, you motherfucker. To the fucking scuzz who put his feet on my desk. We're going to fucking hunt you down. That's what she needs to say.
January 6th is the Feast of the Epiphany.
Catholic.
On this day of revelation, let us pray that this instigation to violence will provide an epiphany for our country to heal. In that spirit of healing, I evoke the song of St. Francis. I usually do. St. Francis is the patron saint of my city of San Francisco, and his song of St. Francis is our anthem. Lord, make me a channel of thy peace. Where there is darkness, may I bring light. Where there is hatred, let us bring love. Where there is despair, let us bring hope.
There you go. And for people who are on the other side, on the wrong side of this, I love you. I love you so much. Cool it. It's over. Let's take the next step here. Okay? Enough. Echoed by, I loved this, Lindsey Graham, who he's as close as, is probably the closest Trump ally I think there is. This, oh my God. If I'm Trump and I hear what Lindsey Graham said, I'm so pissed off. Holy shit. Check it out.
Trump and I, we've had a hell of a journey. I hate it being this way. Oh my God, I hate it. From my point of view, he's been a consequential president. But today, first thing you'll see. All I can say is count me out. Enough is enough. I've tried to be helpful.
Thank God.
But when this Wisconsin Supreme Court ruled 4-3 that they didn't violate the Constitution of Wisconsin.
He's going over all the voting losses Trump piled up, all the court losses Trump piled up in his claims of election fraud. He's giving a laundry list of how it went against him. Make no mistake, he's entitled to those claims. I support that. He lost.
Court ruled 4-3 that they didn't violate the Constitution of Wisconsin. I agree with the 3, but I accept the 4. If Al Gore can accept 5-4, he's not president. I can accept Wisconsin 4-3. Pennsylvania, it went to the Second Circuit. So much for all the judges being in Trump's pocket.
Wow. Holy
they
shit.
They said, no, you're
That's where Trump throws the phone. He's like, motherfuck, I can't believe he just said that. Oh, my God.
Second Circuit. So much for all the judges being in Trump's pocket. Jesus. They said, no, you're wrong.
I think somebody laughed
there. I accept
Second
Circuit. So much for all the judges being in Trump's pocket.
Yes.
They said, no, you're wrong. I accept
some dude went, huh.
Pennsylvania Second Circuit that Trump's lawsuit wasn't right. Georgia, they said the Secretary of State took the law in his own hands. He changed the election laws unlawfully. A federal judge said, no, I accept the federal judge, even though I don't agree with it. Fraud. They said there's 66,000 people in Georgia under 18 voted. How many people believe that? I asked, give me 10. I hadn't had one. They said 8,000 felons in prison in Arizona voted. Give me 10. I hadn't gotten one. Does that say there's problems in every election? I don't buy this. Enough's enough. We got to end it.
I thought that was fantastic. That was fucking great. What is it going to take to convince people otherwise? It's yeah, and there's people that are listening to this right now that don't believe that. And they can't, it's upsetting to them that I don't see it their way. And that's fine. I just don't want it to be the amount of heat in response going forward. You can go ahead and believe that. But we need to up the civility here. This is too much. My God. People dead, cops hurt. Oh, this is so sickening to me. Yeah, I promised you it was going to be a special show. I'm kind of running out of gas on it, and there are a couple other things unrelated to this that I do want to get to that will but I wanted to do this in one big fell swoop like I did, and then that's it. It doesn't help me to ignore this. It doesn't help me to just stew in it. That's how I feel. So this is what you signed up for. Real quick, A&E Heating and Cooling. Joe Martinez reached out to me. What did he say? Hold on a second here. Was that? Sorry, I knew I was going to do this. Damn it! And of course, I'm fumbling along on the stupid phone. Joe Martinez. Aha. There is a device that he's been installing, and it has been getting a lot of momentum. And you may see it when you go to a veterinarian's or if you go to a restaurant in particular. Restaurants are installing the Remy Halo. REMI-HALO. The Remy Halo. The Remy Halo attaches to your home's air conditioning and heating system. All right. Down in like where, the guts of the house. And what this thing does is with, I don't know, lights and fucking magic, it kills viruses. It is an in-duct air purifier, easily mounted into your system. Considering how viruses are front and center in what's going on in the world today, this might be just what you want. And the installation of the Remy Halo antivirus system into your setup is now $100 cheaper. So if this is something you've read about and you've thought, maybe I should get that, this is the guy who you want to install it. Reach out to A&E Heating and Cooling, and right off the bat, it's $100 cheaper because you heard it on this show. Please mention that you heard it on the show, and then you'll be all set. A&E Heating and Cooling, 616-516-8579 for Senor Martinez, 616-516-8579. Sarah, Honda, Granville is where I'm asking you to go if you're in the market for a vehicle, a new Honda. All right. They are on Kenowa, right by 44th Street in beautiful Granville, Michigan. SarahHondaGranville.com. Shop online. Honda vehicles run forever. Oh, my God. And if you're lucky enough to get a certified pre-owned car, they do have them there, but they're tougher to find because, boy, the people just hang on to their Hondas for a long, long time. You can get one at Sarah Honda Granville. How pissed do you think Trump was when he found out that his frickin' Twitter had been locked? Oh, my God. And they're holding his ass to the fire. Locked him down for 12 hours. They deleted tweets on there. And, he's been going after big tech, as he describes it, ever since they started to throw the fact check up on the shit that he's posting. But now, as a result of all of this, first of all, they removed 3 of the tweets. And they said, you're going to need a timeout. And then they said this. If anything else on there, if what it needs to be removed is not removed, the account will remain locked. Future violations of the rules, including the civic integrity of our violent threats policies, will result in permanent suspension of the @RealDonaldTrump account. Oh my God. And then Instagram followed suit. They did the same thing. They said, fuck you. And then Facebook was like, yeah, fuck yes, we're shutting you down too. Unbelievable. So, I mean, he's probably like on fucking, what's the one? With a Snapchat now. You see Trump on there with the fucking Bambi ears saying fucking go get him, get after him. Okay, trial by combat. Holy shit, with Rudy Giuliani there. Oh, Trump on WhatsApp. we started the day thinking that there was going to be a number of senators that were like, okay, we're going to contest this whole thing. One of them was the lady that just lost in Georgia, because what should have been the news yesterday was that Georgia, both of those Senate seats went to the Democrats. So now it's official. It's a fucking Democratic House, Senate. Well, the Senate's tied, but the deciding vote is the vice president. That would be Harris. Vice President Harris. So, yeah, holy shit. That should have been the news. Kelly Loeffler was the Republican who was trying to avoid that from happening. And so she only has days left in her term. She is one of the many Republicans who said, fuck it, I am out. Enough. Trump is alone. Numerous members of his staff are resigning. Senators Steve Daines of Montana, Mike Braun of Indiana, Kelly Loeffler of Georgia all said in light of the violence they would stand back, and stand by from planned objections to Biden's win. My God. Okay, that's it. That's what's on my mind. Officially, I have, let's see, is there anything else I wanted to get to? No, pretty much covered it. If you have questions, comments, or concerns, do not be a stranger. I appreciate any input. I want you to know that while as crazy as I think that those people are, I hope you are not one of them that have the mindset to take it to that type of level. I respect you and love you very much if you have an opposing point of view, as much as you respect and love me. We've come a long way together. We don't have to agree on that shit, but let's not make this to that level ever. We're all Americans, for God's sake. And I think we can still respect one another and be civil about it. And I honestly think that this terrible thing that happened is going to be, it's like fucking Jocko. Good. Something good's going to come out of it. Maybe this will be the thing that knocked people over the head to understand that this is gone on too far, too long, too much. Okay? Take a fucking breath. All right, folks. Love you very much. Have a good rest of your day. Thanks for enjoying the free podcast. I hope it was okay for you. I tried my best. I always do. Thanks again for checking it out and being part of it. I'll be back tomorrow, and I'll be on Patreon a little bit later on. Have a great day, folks. Love you, and God bless. Bye-bye.